For chapter 10 recording, I am going to talk about the other two pitfalls that you have with vowels in Spanish. In chapter 9, I talked about the creation of diphthongs, and in this chapter, I'll talk about three more. Avoiding neutralizing vowels, avoiding interference with Spanish cognates and loan words, and of course, learning new diphthong combinations that do not exist in English. And I'm going to repeat here again, when speaking the English language, we need to create glides and diphthongs. We need to neutralize our vowels to sound like a native speaker. What does it mean to neutralize our vowel? It's saying we don't say doctor, we say doctor. So it's like neutralizing our vowel and putting our tongue in a very neutral position, which remember is the sound. So it's a lot of doctor, institution, intelligent, implicit. It's always our tongue in English is always in that neutral position. Likewise, English speakers must learn to pronounce vowels in a way, likewise, it must learn to pronounce vowels in a tense and short manner to sound native-like, something we do not do in English. So I'm going to say English speakers who are learning Spanish must learn to pronounce vowels in a tense and short manner. And again, like I said, we don't do that in English. Así que en ese capítulo vamos a repasar esa terminología que hemos visto antes, que tenía que ver con tónica o átona. ¿Se acuerdan que tónica es la sílaba que lleva el estrés? Para poder entender mejor la razón por qué el español es diferente del inglés en cuanto a la pronunciación de las vocales, tenemos que hablar de nuevo de las sílabas. En los primeros capítulos hemos hablado sobre la silabificación de las palabras. En el capítulo 6 hemos hablado de la acentuación de cada palabra y de una oración. Y ahora vamos a continuar hablando de esa acentuación. ¿Se acuerdan que he dicho que el estrés o la sílaba estresada es la sílaba tónica, mientras las otras que no reciben el estrés son las sílabas átonas? So what I want to say here is the big difference between the two languages. When we speak, we naturally give extra emphasis or a push, like I just did with that word, to certain syllables. We're so used to doing this that sometimes we don't even notice it. And in order to understand the science behind this emphasis, we have to train our ears to hear the subtle differences between stressed and unstressed syllables. Sometimes the best way to hear stressed and unstressed syllables is to deliberately stress some words in the wrong way. We're used to hearing the correct stress patterns. They sound so normal, natural that we don't notice them, but the incorrect stress patterns will sound so odd that they will make our ears sit up and take notice. For example, when you say the three-syllable word video, you stress the first syllable video. And if you try stressing the word any other way, video or video, it won't sound right. Same with person. We say person sounds right, but person sounds wrong. Reading sounds right. Well, I just did that wrong. Reading sounds right, whereas reading doesn't. When you say regardless, you can hear yourself putting the stress on the middle syllable. Regardless, but regardless and regardless don't sound right. Let me correct that. So what you see here are all these capital letters marking the syllable that's stressed. Why is this important? We'll get to that soon. When we're looking at our transcriptions, this is a review of what we've already seen before. Tanto, tan is the stressed syllable. Now I start doing capital letters here to mark, to show you where the stress is. Prefiguración. That's why in our transcription we put the phonetic stress, because we're saying that that's the syllable that's stressed. And what you have to do here when you're saying these words is either look at where the phonetic tilde is, talón, making it aguda. If it's not there, make sure you follow the rules. A vowel word ending with a vowel makes it a llana, una. So this is stressed. Word vowel ending with a consonant is aguda, tumor, total, unidad. Oh, this has a written accent there, so we don't even look at the rule. Espíritu. Ends with a vowel, makes it a llana, fielmente. Ends with a consonant, makes it aguda, universidad. Here we have an accent, armonía. Consonant, humor, oportunidad, óptima, maldecir, banana, siderúrgico, maldiciendo, mañana, Tegucigalpa, noviembre, cónyuge, rigor, Paraná, Santiago, Paragarcutiromícuaro, the city. A review of what we've already seen in the last chapter. Why is this important now? Because we have to talk about rhythm. Rhythm has everything to do with where the tonic syllable is. You can read this all. I'm going to read it to you. In Spanish, each syllable, each stressed syllable takes equal time as a non-stressed syllable. And I like to say for this reason that whether it's a stressed or unstressed syllable, the syllables are treated exactly the same. Equal opportunity syllables in Spanish. For this reason, Spanish has a syllabic rhythm to it. That means that each syllable gets that hit of the metronome. Okay, and there's no shortening of syllables because it's not stressed. Now, I just said that because in English, what's more important or what gets more time, if you measure it time-wise, the tonic syllables will be much longer time-wise than an unstressed syllable. For this reason, English has an accented rhythm. Spanish is syllabic, whereas English only concentrates or gives attention to syllables that are stressed. And this is the most important point of why English speakers mispronounce vowels in Spanish. It's because they eat them, or they eat the unstressed vowels. So if you think of a metronome beating, you know, it's that metronome on top of the piano that helps keep the beat. Tick, tock, tick, tock. And if you were reading a sentence in English to that beat of the metronome, you would try to read the sentence having each stressed syllable fall on the measured beat. And in order to do so, at times you'll have to take shortcuts and not fully articulate those syllables that aren't stressed. If you remember, those syllables that don't receive that accent mark. The most common shortcut in order to be able to fit everything into that beat of the metronome is to not fully pronounce or articulate an unimportant stressed vowel. That shortcut is always to neutralize a vowel to a schwa sound, represented by the upside down E. Schwa is a German term that's frequently used in both German and English. And if you remember, or if you know, English is a Germanic language. And its influence, it came down from that Germanic mother tongue. That's why we have the sound, and that's the schwa, the neutral sound, the easiest sound, doesn't take much energy to produce it. It is defined phonetically as central, middle, and neutral. It's what we saw in the triangle for the letter A in Spanish. If you remember the isosceles triangle at the bottom tip, we had the A. We don't particularly care what it sounds like, but it does happen vaguely in the center of the mouth, like if I should put, maybe it's better to hear sometimes a bit higher and sometimes a bit lower, ah. We make the schwa sound in English, doctor. So this is a schwa sound. This is a stress syllable, and so we tend to pronounce the vowel correctly, but it's that unstressed syllable that we're trying to take the shortcut, and therefore we neutralize that sound, doctor, especially in a sentence. Intelligent, intelligent, all these become neutralized. Hospital, these two become the hospital. For this reason, English loves spelling bees, like I said before. The sound most frequently doesn't coincide with the spelling. Okay? And I really like this meme here. I want to be a schwa. It's never stressed. And that's somehow, if you will remember that, when it's never stressed, what they're referring to, it's never in a tonic syllable. So remember, this is what we do in English. We cannot do this in Spanish. So a review, we saw in chapter 9, the creation of diphthongs. We can't do it in English, in Spanish. The vowels have to be short and tense. And now we're going to see 3 more of these pitfalls. Number 2, neutralization deals exactly with what we just saw, which is the sound schwa. And like I said, because the majority of the unstressed vowels are central and neutral, we pronounce them in English as Esa es una tendencia muy común entre los anglohablantes, es la de emplear una vocal central media neutra en esas sílabas átonas. Este sonido, como mencionado antes, se conoce por el término alemán schwa. Okay, I'm just saying the same thing here. And I gave English words here that show that. The bolded letters are that schwa sound. We have to remember, though, as simple as that, undo it. Don't do it in Spanish. Es importante aprender con esta lección que en español las vocales átonas nunca se neutralizan. Never produce that schwa sound. Always round your lips and take your time saying all these vowels. So if we say these words, you'll notice that all of them are English cognates. We have these words in English. I'll say the word in English first, indigenous. I bolded the letter, that's a schwa. But in Spanish, stretch those lips and say indígena. If we don't stretch those lips, it's going to come out as indígena, and that's incorrect. And there's your American accent or your English accent. In English, difficult. Oh. En español, difícil. Stretch those lips. Make them nice and tight, like you're smiling, showing all your teeth. Difícil. And that I will come out as nice and short and tense. It's not significant. Well, it is significant in English. In Spanish, that's significa. Make sure all those I's come out as E, significa. Calification, English, calificación. I'm bolding the ones that will give you problems. Intelligent, intelligent. Everything's that schwa sound. In Spanish, tighten those lips. Inteligente. Interior. In Spanish, interior. English, situated. Spanish, situado. Señorita. Señorita. I think we do. In Spanish, it's señorita. Here's a biggie. Modification. Everything's Spanish, modificación. Stretch those lips so that you're showing your teeth. Overdo it, exaggerate it, and the sound will come out nice. Literature, literature. In español, literatura. Analysis is in English. I'm doing a kind of an English personality here from England. You hear it a little bit better. Analysis. Wait, how do you say it in English? Analysis. In Spanish, análisis. Make sure your lips are stretched to produce those sounds. Hospital. In Spanish, it's O, round those lips, hospital, and stretch those lips there. And it's your cheeks and your jaw should hurt after doing this exercise. If you're an English speaker, not a heritage language speaker, normally heritage language speakers won't have this exercise to do. They nor do it naturally already. Your jaw and your lips will hurt. Hospital. English, conversation. Conversations, that neutral sound. Spanish, conversación. Rounded lips and tightened lip. Monstrous, again, neutral. You need to do mon, round the lips, monstruoso. Operation, in Spanish it's operación. Responsibility, all these are neutralized in Spanish, in English. In Spanish, you have to stretch those lips and round the lips. Responsabilidad. Opportunity. In Spanish, oportunidad. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. We want to round the lips on the O's and stretch them for the I. I already did that one. And official. Everything is neutral. In Spanish, round the lips, oficial. Stretch those lips, oficial. So at the end, indígena, difícil, significa, calificación, inteligente, interior, situado, not situado. We don't have that situation here. Situado, señorita, modificación, literatura, análisis, hospital, conversación, monstruoso, operación, responsabilidad, oportunidad, doctor, oficial. And I want you to notice that in order for you to be able to pronounce all of these properly, you have to give each syllable that metronome tick. And not what we do in English. We say indigenous. We kind of focus only on the rhythm, the rhythm of the word that gets the stress. In Spanish, you have to slow down, and each of these syllables gets equal opportunity in its speech. Indígena, difícil. And you can hear that metronome clicking in your head and making sure that each syllable has the time that's equal to pronounce each. And if you don't do that, it's going to be very difficult to round your lips and stretch your lips. Same with here. I have more practice. All the words are in Spanish. I'll read them out loud to you. Inteligencia, española, fonética, fonología, morfología, ortografía, sintaxis, léxico, semántica, maravillas, tecnológicas, filosofía, filosófico, desarrollo, íntimamente, frecuentemente, esta gente, la oficina, el resultado, me mintió, una obra monótona, durmiendo en casa, sintiendo el espíritu, terminada esta práctica. Again, slow down when you're saying all your words. And if you notice, a native speaker of Spanish does not rush when they're speaking. Each syllable, equal opportunity, time to be able to pronounce everything in it. Everything else is, let's see, part 3 here. We have another pitfall, more about cognates and borrowed words. We have to watch out for loan words that we have from Spanish. In English, we have fiesta, And we like to break it up to, in Spanish it's pronounced as a two-syllable word, being ayana, fiesta. In English, it's pronounced following English rules. And we say it fiesta. And we kind of break it up like that. That's fine if we're using the word in English context. But you have to be able to know that you have to pronounce it correctly when you're saying it in Spanish as a llana two-syllable word. Another word that's been borrowed and we hear commonly in Spanish, in English, is, hey, let's go grab a burrito. Fine in English. But when you say it in Spanish, you actually have to say burrito, the rounded lips, I and the O, burrito, not burrito. Again, it's okay to say that in English, but you cannot say that when you're saying it in Spanish. Again, the whole purpose is you can say it, but we want to eliminate our American accent. Another one that we have here is cognates with the misplaced stress. In English, we like to say significant, where it's a esdrújula in English, significant, but in Spanish, if you've noticed on your grabación, many of you got it incorrect, it's significa, it's ayana. So try and notice when we have those cognates that might throw us off. Christopher, in English, Christopher is a esdrújula, but in Spanish, it's actually Cristobal. It's not Cristobal, like the one that the gypsy uses to tell the future, but Cristobal, it's ayana. And then the last part that I have in the notes are diphthongs that don't exist in English, and therefore they're very difficult for us to pronounce in Spanish. The EU combination is very difficult for English speakers to produce, and we tend to want to separate them and say deuda, Europa, euro, Europa, europeo. We have to make sure it's a diphthong. Deuda, Europa, euro, europeo. And I have them all summarized here on the last page. If you can master these 4 pitfalls, your pronunciation errors or your articulation, your accent in Spanish will definitely be minimized significantly.